Welcome to In Isolation With, the talk show where we make a connection without actually making contact. I hope you're doing well, that you're staying safe, staying healthy, and staying home. Later in the show, we'll meet Gordon Deppe, lead singer, guitarist, and songwriter for The Spoons. But first, I wanted to tell you about an article I just read about how music can help us through the pandemic. From opera singers serenading their neighbors from the safety of their balconies, or the Zoom concerts some very big names have uploaded online for free, or the music trivia games you might be playing with your friends, it has become clear that music is more than just a distraction, but that it is necessary for our well-being. Psychologist Christina Barcello uses music on her clients suffering from depression, anxiety, and PTSD and says it is a must to engage in some sort of musical activity, whether it's dancing or playing or singing, because of the positive effects it's going to have on the brain. One musician doing his part to provide some musical therapy during the pandemic is Gordon Deppe of The Spoons. The band's new album, New Day, New World, was released just before the lockdown, but that hasn't stopped Deppe and the band from finding new and interesting ways to get their music out there. The writer of big hits like Romantic Traffic, Nova Heart, Old Emotions, and Tell No Lies joins me to talk about what should have been a celebratory summer season for the Spoons, who turn 40 years old this year, why he doesn't feel like writing songs right now, and what it's like to be married to a frontline worker. Here's Gordon Deppe.
I'm glad to be doing something.
Well, the last time that I saw you in person was before all of this, and
Yes.
It was just kind of at the beginning of it, and you kept getting texts, and you got 3 or 4 texts of shows that were being canceled because of this virus. And of course, we had been hearing about it, but I don't think at that point knew how serious it was. What was that day like for you? Because it must have been kind of weird to see that amount of work just kind of
Yeah,
fall
you're
apart.
right, because at that point we were still sort of being a little naive and thinking, it's not going to be so serious, you know. But you're right. I mean, one of the things I was supposed to be on with Flock Seagulls, because I'm a spoon, but I also play with Flock Seagulls, a guitar, was a big 80s cruise, which would have been the worst case scenario, to be stuck in the Caribbean with, you know, not that I wouldn't want to be with all those 80s bands, but I think it was like 3,500 people on a ship, so it would have been disaster, you know. Oh yeah, the whole summer is shot. I mean, all the festivals, all the outdoor things, like I said, music is going to be one of the last things to recover, I think, at least large shows.
What do you think concerts are going to look like? I mean, will everyone be wearing masks in the audience? And if so, is that weird for you as a performer? Would that be an odd sight to look at? Or will it be the new normal?
You know, at this point, we're looking at anything and we would be happy in any shape or form. I even had the idea, and since I had the idea, I've seen it happen twice in Europe. I had the idea of doing sort of pop-up drive-in theater type shows,
Right.
where people could be in their cars, you know, when they started allowing more than, 2 or so many people per car. So if people want to self-isolate, I think we may even have to be separated on stage by some 6 feet. So there may be markings on the stage to tell us, where we can go. You know, at this point, we're all so eager to work again that we'll abide by any rules.
You have a new record out, and
How insane is that title for this time right now?
I know it's almost as if you had planned ahead, but this came out just as all this was happening. So the record's called New Day, New World, and it certainly is a new world. Tell me a little bit about the record. It is a Spoons record. It sounds like the Spoons, but it sounds slightly different as well. So tell me a little bit about the sound, what fans could expect to hear.
Yeah, well, I always hope it sounds like the Spoons. I mean, that's mission accomplished, but
Yeah.
It can't sound like we're stuck in the 80s. That would be terrible, right? I think it sounds more like a contemporary band that has a little bit of 80s flavor to it. And so people have compared it to all sorts of current things, maybe because a lot of new bands have a bit of 80s flavor. So it can go both ways, you know. But I think this is our 40th anniversary for the Spoons. So it represents a little bit of everything we've done, from the techno side to the funky side, like the Years with Nile Rodgers, the pop side, like songs like Romantic Traffic, a little bit of everything that we've done really in this one record.
So 40 years, that must blow your mind a little bit.
Yeah, especially this year when it was going to be the big 40th anniversary. We even had Rob and Derek, the original members, on the sides waiting to join us on some big shows. Yeah, 40 years is a long time, but it sure doesn't feel that way. I mean, I don't think I've grown up. It hasn't. I'm still that kid who still enjoys music so much that time is kind of a fleeting thing, you know.
And you've got the fans that have stayed with you the entire time. I mean, we've talked about this. The people that loved the Spoons in the 80s now have kids who love the Spoons, and they all come and see you.
Isn't that crazy? And I don't think they're forcing them to come see this. Again, because you know what? The people they listen to, like Lady Gaga or, you know, the Killers or Interpol or any new artist, really, even the new Pearl Jam record. How 80s is that? You know, all these drum machines and flavors are kind of the norm now.
And why do you think that the band, I mean, the songs are great. You have an obvious enthusiasm for the music and playing the music. Is that all it takes? Is that what just great songs and a lot of passion?
I think, you know, I don't know. A lot of luck, really, you know, because I know a lot of great performers who don't have that luck. And some people are super successful and you wonder how they got so lucky. But, you know, it's who knows, this X factor that, but you're right. If you stick with it long enough, like 40 years, it's bound to come back around again. I really think the interest in the band now is bigger than in like 15 years. Mm-hmm. And playing with Flock of Seagulls, they've noticed the same thing. Even at that level, they're playing more than they have in decades right now.
And you play guitar for them as well.
All those nifty little echoey riffs, I do those things.
That's cool, right? That must feel great. I've never been on a stage at a big rock show and heard, like, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, you know, and the response that you get from the audience. What does that feel like?
Oh, it's great, of course. And you know what? I'm not tired of it. People think you would get jaded after a while. Not me. I still get a little bit nervous before every show. And the moment I get up there, you can't get me off. It's like, it's the thing that scares you the most in life, but is the most gratifying at the same time. And the thing with Flock of Seagulls, I mean, Spoons, we do Noble Heart and Romantic Trafficking. It's like, yeah. But you come out and you do Iran, it's like tenfold. It's like, you know, last year we did places like the Greek Theater, for instance, you know, really iconic places, and they're packed, you know, and the reaction those songs have is timeless.
Now, releasing a record at this point, you could not have foreseen what was going to happen. But man, you're out there working this record. I mean, and I say out there, you're online working this record. Yeah. You can't get out there. But I love what you've been doing. You've been making videos and that whole thing. So tell me, because I was very flattered and very happy to be in the new video. Yeah. So tell me about the New Day, New World video, where you got the idea from.
Well, it was actually Peter Sacco, the director, and we've done 2 other videos with him for First and Last Time and All the Wrong Things. And we thought we'd be out of business for a while because of this. We can't go out and make new, you know, video. But he had the great idea that we could stay home, just record little things on our iPhones in our backyards or our homes. He would fill in the rest with stock footage or stuff that he had filmed, because he comes from the paranormal TV series world. Oh, yeah. He had one of those ghost hunter shows, you know, where they go into the houses. And so he has some great footage from that we used in the first video. Of course, it doesn't apply to what we're going through now. So we did a video called Landing Lights about a month ago to honor all the frontline workers. And the reaction was so good, and we were able to do it at home. And skip forward to this one, he said, let's do it again, but get all the people that we know, you know, other musicians, athletes, politicians, everybody right across the board, international and mostly Canadian, and get them involved, holding simple sort of handmade signs at home, kind of reflecting their thoughts or where they are right now. You know, a great one is like Alan Frew says, "Don't forget me when I'm home."
Yeah.
Or Wang Chung, you know, everybody stay home tonight. These are all friends, people I've met on tour. We got Flock of Seagulls, obviously, Wang Chung, went in Rome. Corey Arden is in there, Glass Tiger, James Sirbry, and people like yourself. Curtis Joseph, you know, is in there. He has a great spot. So it was a lot of fun just putting these pieces together.
Yeah, and the video turned out so well. And I just think that the response that I've seen online for it has just been so kind of cool and positive, and that must make you feel good.
Yeah, especially, like you say, when you can't really do much and you just do really such a little thing. I mean, Peter did put a lot of work into it, but little effort, and you get such a payback with people just saying, you're making us feel better. You know, we feel like we're part of something, we're going to get through this. Because this video is very hopeful. For the big finale, we're kind of flashes forward to after all this and how we've sort of come through it and hopefully learn something from it.
Now, as you were saying, like the title, New Day, New World is so timely for right now. but of course it was decided upon well before this was a
Oh
thought
yeah,
in anyone's head. So tell
over
me,
a year ago.
yeah, tell me a little bit about the writing of the songs. Was there an effort to be upbeat? Was there an effort to put something very positive into the world?
It was, even though that track, it's the title track, and I never would have thought that was a single because it isn't really necessarily upbeat. It's kind of a slow symphonic
Right.
feel, very much like the Arias Symphonies days where we started. And I thought, it's a great opener to an album, but it's not really a single. But with this video and the subject matter, it's perfect. It's epic, especially at the end when it breaks free. And
Yeah.
yeah, but overall, we wanted to get back to the fun summer years of Romantic Traffic, Town of Lies, all this sort of happy stuff. Couple of darker tunes in there, but yeah, it's a very emotional record, and it's our first record in 7 years, and it really reflects the life I've lived over 7 years. When you make records every year, they kind of skip, one skips into the other one.
Right.
But here, I've lived so much life and experienced so much stuff. There's so much new to write about.
Do you think that going through what we're going through right now will affect the songs that you write moving forward?
It could, but I'm not writing now. That would be not. I'm not saying it would be a mistake, but I'm just too freaked out about everything. I can't get creative. That's why it's nice to stay busy with what we have. I don't know what kind of songs I'll be writing right now. It would be like, be a musical, about, like it's not a good time to really write songs unless you take the other approach and just go escape, and then just. But I can't right now, so. Yeah.
It's interesting because when all this first started happening and it looked like we were going to be inside for weeks, remember, like, 2 weeks, stay inside for 2 weeks and it'll all be fine. Everyone said, well, Shakespeare wrote King Lear in quarantine, and a couple of other, Isaac Newton, I think, created one of his theories in quarantine. So everyone said it's a great time to be creative. And the more people that I talk to who are writers, who are musicians, who are people who are creative, are finding other ways than their main outlet for creativity. Because writers, as what I'm finding, don't really feel like writing these days. Musicians don't feel like writing songs. Musicians may create videos and that kind of thing and find another way to be creative, but they're not doing the main thing because I think there is an underlying anxiety that goes along with all of this.
Yeah, and especially I'm sort of a very intuitive writer. I'm not a staff writer who sits down every day and writes like a job. I have to have the right zone to be in. As a writer, that you get in the zone where things just flow without much effort. I'm not getting that now. It's just there's a big damper on the whole thing. It's kind of a precious way to write, when I feel like it, but it works for me. It kind of comes from somewhere else.
What are you doing then during the day? So when you're not making videos, I see a bunch of guitars behind you.
I play. Oh my God, my guitars again. I rotate through them. I fiddle with them. I change parts on them. I do get out. I have dogs to walk, and my wife Megan is a pharmacist, so I take her sometimes and get out and see the world a little bit, and then go home. And we're being very law-abiding through this whole thing, very careful. The neighbors are trying to talk me into doing a little concert by myself on the front steps, for the neighborhood. I may do that. So, yeah.
Now, I know that your wife Megan is a pharmacist. How's she doing? Is she going to work every day? Has it changed for her? What are the protocols? Does she wash her hands more than any other human?
Yeah, but it's really affecting her emotionally. And like I said to her, I would like to just lock her at home, not let her go to work, but she's not like that. She has to go. She wants to be there, but it really is taking its effect. It's not only that she has to go, she has to put on a brave face, like everything is okay, be careful, but we'll be fine, which probably will be. Yeah, it's tough on her. And that in that case, I wish she was a musician like me and we could stay home, write songs together.
That's right.
Very proud of her. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. And I think it's one of those situations where you have a newfound appreciation for the work that these frontline workers are doing, and that they're going in every day, and that they're pushed into situations that we never thought we'd be in. It really does give you a whole new appreciation for the people that we see every day in our regular lives often, and maybe don't think about as much as we should.
And not only the people like the pharmacists and the frontline workers, but people who are at the front lines, like in grocery stores and and kids are making minimum wage, you know, and they're putting their lives on the line for almost nothing, you know, and that really, you know, makes you think too. That's a tough one to watch. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there, you know, I'm sure their parents or their husbands or wives wish they were home through this.
When I emailed you about this, I wondered if you would play part of the song or play a little bit of the song. Are you
Oh,
still?
sure. Yeah, I can do that. Hey, did you ever remember Anchorman, where he says, they ask him to play the flute, and oh, no, then he pulls the flute right out of his sleeve. It's like, oh, I just happen to have a guitar.
It's a new day, and it's a new day, all the victims and all the things we said, just trailers to a movie, and you see them in the end. Cause when the night is over and the stars go out again, it's funny how the small things get lost in translation. Thousand trees and boulevards and every dead end street, stick figures in the neighborhood and the people that we meet. But if they ain't just same as you and me, through counting down the hours, does everyone can see it's a new day? It's a new day, and it's a new day, and we start again. It's a new day. It's a new day.
You know, what I meant to do, and I think I told you this story. So I was at I think it was the Awards many years ago.
Yeah.
And you guys won everything. Spoon won everything.
Really? Okay.
And the people backstage, I think there might have been some friends and family there, but there was a dinner area, and every time you would win, they'd take their spoons and bang them together instead of applauding. They'd bang the spoons together, and I love that. I love that so much.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that, because I was talking about the drive-in shows that actually we're going to do one in Canada once it opens up. I was watching the footage from Europe. Same thing. Instead of people applauding at these concerts, they were honking their horns and their windshield wipers were going like this. So whether it's, you know, banging spoons or honking, yeah, you do what you can. Yeah,
that's fantastic. One last thing. Do you have any hand washing tips for anybody? Do you do it differently than anybody else? Do you sing Nova Heart? You know,
somebody's posted that. Somebody has posted that.
Yeah.
To washing your hands to Nova Heart and all the steps. They've done that with a few songs, I think. Oh, I'm a good hand washer anyway. You know, as a singer, you know, you got to protect your vocal cords. So I'm always super, you know, I'm not obsessive about it, but close, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the main thing is get the fingertips.
That's right.
And the palms.
Yeah.
And in between the fingers.
Well, and the
not
thumbs,
just like that and you're done.
And the thumbs, apparently. A lot of people wash their hands like that, and they don't wash their thumbs.
Good point.
This is what I'm learning during this time of isolation.
Very educational.
Gordon, thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself.
You too. That was Gordon Deppe. Thanks so much to him for chatting with me and playing the latest single from the Spoon's new album, New Day, New World, which is available wherever you legally find new music. Also, my thanks to you for joining us. I know you have loads of options right now for what to watch and shows you can tune into, so I'm so happy that you chose to spend the time with us. Until I see you again, stay safe, Stay healthy and stay home.